This year, the US has raised so-called Section 301 tariffs on a variety of Chinese imports. Case in point, Chinese electric vehicles, which is a rapidly expanding industry. The tariff on these cars has soared to a whopping 100%. But even Elon Musk said neither his company Tesla nor him asked for them. Top executives at Volkswagen also warned the European Union, who is also considering tariffs, that the measure could backfire. So the question is, are these new tariffs warranted? Let's look at the grounds upon which the US is justifying these tariffs. In US government statements, the reasons come to surface in keywords like overcapacity and subsidy. So here comes the first counter-argument, that the so-called overcapacity is a myth.
According to the International Energy Agency, to achieve carbon neutrality targets, global sales of new energy vehicles need to reach approximately 45 million by 2030. This figure is more than 3 times the global sales in 2023, far exceeding the current global supply capacity.
During that press conference, we posed a question concerning one of the most contentious arguments against China's new energy product exports: the assertion that they have gained unfair advantages through so-called prohibitive subsidies.
China's industrial subsidy policies strictly adhere to the rules of the World Trade Organization. Any enterprise operating in China is entitled to equal treatment and may enjoy subsidies that do not contravene the prohibitive measures outlined by the WTO.
Now let's zoom out a bit. US tariffs against China are not just on electric cars. Included in the list are items from steel and aluminum to cranes-used imports. Chinese experts that I talked to say, well, yes, America may be dependent on China for these items, but that's not the result of unfair trade practices. It's purely the international division of labor based on the laws of economics. Since China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001 and started its evolution into the world factory, its trade volume with America has grown almost 5-fold by 2023. And over the years, the two countries' comparative advantages have become clear.
The United States boasts strong original innovation capabilities, and China is the only country with all industrial categories classified by the UN. The motto of American innovation plus Chinese manufacturing has become common for many multinational firms.
According to this logic, levying tariffs on these industrial products simply means eliminating one of the most cost-effective choices for American importers. But Chinese experts say this does not do American companies any favors, and it's the US public who will end up paying the price for bad business. During the past 5 years, the increase in America's consumer prices for all items hovered at relatively high levels. The reasons are, of course, many-fold. Geopolitical conflicts created energy shortages. The COVID pandemic curbed production and prompted the Federal Reserve to pursue massive stimulus. These are all factors that tip the scale towards higher demands than supply, which causes inflation. But another underlying contributor is what experts are calling deglobalization inflation. It stems from protectionist measures against imports from not just China, but also other regions of the world.
The cost of these tariffs has ultimately been passed on to downstream producers and end consumers in the form of high prices. This has contributed to exacerbating high inflation in the United States.
Ultimately, the US tariffs will make global trade more fragmented, and the implications go beyond China and the US. Research by the IMF, WTO, and others show that fragmentation could dramatically impact the world economy, costing up to 7% of global economic output, and possibly more for certain countries. If the current protectionist trends worsen, the world economy is heading down a path that many cannot afford.